80%, not 50, not 40, not 60, y'all. 80% of single parent households is ran by mothers. So when he started adding the fact that he had 9 kids, I exited the conversation.
Fortunately, this is something that men are very, very familiar with. As soon as men begin to talk about a specific male issue, a specific black male issue, it becomes a black woman issue, and men become right back at fault. Describe, let's talk about it.
Let me get in the car with you guys for just a second, okay? So there's so many things happening in this conversation. Cam talks about the black man not feeling like he can express himself.
Right.
For one, we need to stop talking about the leaves of the tree and not the root of the tree, okay? You're talking about black men not being able to express because we don't give him a comfort zone. He doesn't give himself one either. We tell the black boy, man up, don't cry, don't show emotions, grow up, be tough. And then that man grows up and doesn't know how to express and feels like he can't have community with his brothers because he is not raised to have community and raised to express himself. And black men and black women, we encourage that. Oh, you gotta be tough. Boys don't cry. That's a girl thing, right? So we can't complain about the fruit of the tree if we're not attacking the root. So in the same instance where Cam is saying, oh, they don't get to have empathy, society don't have empathy, what are you really looking for? You're not looking for empathy, Cam. What you're looking for is the root of the issue. Like you said, 80% of single parent households in America is ran by single mothers.
That's right.
80%, not 50, not 40, not 60, y'all. 80% of single parent households is ran by mothers. So when he started adding the fact that he had 9 kids, I exited the conversation because then I had to go to facts, okay? The black mom doesn't have people to rely on. She doesn't have community. The minute that man left that household, she's left to figure it out, not cry in front of those kids, make sure they eat, make sure she's the comforter, the provider, the nurturer, all of the above, while still maintaining her presence for these children. So the root of the problem is not that we all need empathy. Yes, the black man needs empathy. He needs somewhere to have community, but we both need empathy and we both need community. Both the black man and the black woman needs to come together because empathy is not the problem. Healthy households is the problem so that we can raise these children.
It feels like a deference of responsibility and
How are you ever supposed to have a healthy household if whenever men are talking about a specific issue to them, it quickly has to pan out to be an either inclusive issue with black women or it's just kind of still your fault at it? This is what he's talking about, that empathy or that sympathy that is not really available for black men, just to simply sit there and talk about a specific issue affecting them, especially when they're talking about how it affects them. In that whole diatribe that she gave, she also mentioned, this is not what you're looking for, Cam. You're telling him, right? As if he's not capable of describing what exactly he is talking about for him and his experiences. This is why these conversations never go anywhere. You want us to talk to you. You want us to have open, honest dialogue, but you're not ready to receive it outside of your own pain, outside of your own hurt, which we're not going to sit here and pretend like doesn't exist. But if you can't set that aside and deal with one issue at a time, then we can't make any real progress. It's impossible for you to juggle all the issues at the same time and try to suss out, okay, this is how we get down to the root of this. It's impossible. You can keep trying to go back and say which came first, the chicken or the egg, which came first, the black man leaving the house or the single mother. You can't really get down to a noticeable or a reputable point which you can actually say, okay, on this rock we'll build our church and this is how we'll go better. We'll do better going forward. What you end up with is just more blame shifting, looking at a man who says, listen, this is what it is for us. Well, this is why it is. This is what the problem is. And this is what black women have to deal with. Okay. Now let's think about what actually how do you have a productive conversation when one side monopolizes the vulnerability, one side monopolizes being a victim? At some point in time, we're going to have to say, listen, for this conversation, I do not care about the plight of a single mom. I do not care about your plight as a black woman. We're going to talk about specifically this issue. And then when we put this one to bed, then we can talk about your issue with the same exclusionary tactics as we just applied to you. Otherwise, you cannot have a conversation with someone who is speaking through emotion, through pain, and it's directed at that very same archetype embodied person sitting right across from you. Doesn't matter that a person had no hand in hurting you. That person didn't do anything specifically to you, but he represents an image for you that is the problem. And if you can't sit down and say, yes, I can recognize our hand in hurting you, full stop. It's the same way you expect us to listen to you in that same sort of vein. Yes, this says you've been wronged by a black man, full stop. You don't want to hear the buts. You don't want to hear not all men. You don't want to hear any of that. You made it abundantly clear. These things aren't important for you to hear. You want to hear that your pain is being acknowledged, but you can't do the same thing for a black man. You can't do the same for another person. This is why we say you don't argue in good faith. This is why we say you don't get anywhere with these conversations. And then saying the quiet part out loud, this is why people stop caring about your issues. This is why people stop just attribute all that yelling and screaming and saying, cool, whatever, I don't care. At the best, what you often get from men that could be the ones that could help affect change, they take a step back and they say, this just becomes white noise. I can't listen to this all day. If you're not ready to actually be open and empathetic to whatever someone else is doing, it's always about how you are doing your struggle, your issue. Why do you expect men to open up and share? Why do you expect men to open up and change any of that? Even when you go, you hold on to old tropes, as boys are told, you don't cry. You know what we're told? You know what we tell each other? Don't let them see you cry. Don't open up to them. You can find your tribe, find your guys, create that space for yourself, and open up to your guys. That's why we have our guys. Because we look and say, when you bring up an issue to her, what ends up happening? You're at fault for your own issue. She did something you did not like. Well, you can be prepared to be at fault for your own issue. This is one of the undercutting reasons why men just say, "Oh, cool. We don't have to do the relationship thing. We don't have to get down on knee. We don't have to, join our lives." There's no point in it when it's always going to be a one-sided affair by how you see the world, how you think about things. At that point, men just say, rather than engage in that and then now be financially tied to you, be emotionally tied to you, being tied to you with children, just say, we're just going to take a step back. That's it. If you don't want to look and admit the hand you have in it being men being raised like this, because if you're saying that men are being taught, and she did say that men and women, mothers and fathers tell their kids this, but when you're raising a son by yourself in that without a man in the house, you can't expect them to have male values because you yourself can only approximate those male values. And you can see in this clip, you don't do it well. It has the rose-colored female lens attached to it. So you think this is what Cam is saying, despite what Cam has actually said. Now, what else do you do when there's no one else to sit there and push back from that? You tell your son how you think men move. You tell your son how you would like to be treated as a woman out there in a dating game. You don't tell your son how to be a man. You tell him your best approximation of it, and it's bad. And demonstrably, statistically, it's bad. When you want to complain about the men that you see today, the men that you have to date, but you won't look back and say, okay, I know he was raised 80% of the time without a father in the house. Okay, so the ones that raised this boy, and we can go back and forth the reason why he wasn't house. You can do that to the cows come home. We're talking about what's happening right now. The effective reason, the effective thing that now there was no father in the house. So now he wasn't taught that way how to be a man. So he approximated it from the lessons from your mother. He approximated those lessons. So now he's out here filling in the gaps with what he can find from social media, from the streets, from wherever. And it's not doing a great job. This is who you end up dealing with. And then what? We repeat the cycle again and again. If you're not ready to actually tackle these things in an effective manner, an effective manner means the truth that there's some pain you're simply gonna have to let go. There's some pain you're not gonna have an answer to. You're not gonna have an actual solution to, hey, okay, this resolves this. Some of that, you're gonna have to let it go and charge it to game, give it to God. But if you can't do that, because it's always, you're talking from a place of hurt. You're already primed to scream, to shout, to represent women, to say that this is what's wrong with men. Okay. Men are pragmatic. And what you're going to see is them just simply stepping away and accepting you in a lesser form of relationship. That's actually what you're getting now. where you're just engaging and having sex and having some sort of close intimacy, but by then knowing that this relationship isn't really going to last, and they skirt off to the next one. You're left with a child. And they do that to the next one and the next one and the next one. Now we repeat the cycle ad nauseum. If you want to have real conversations, you're going to have to let go of all of that angst. You have to find people that are willing to talk to you, willing to have the conversation. But how can you when this becomes what you're representing? This becomes the image that precedes you, and people just say, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to take the stereotype I have of you, and that's how I'm going to go forward. I think, okay, you may be good to look at, you may be fun in the bedroom, but I don't want to tie my life to this. You can be making all the great points in the world, but the minute you start talking for men, you lose men. If you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're trying to build something dope. See you in the next one.